Welcome to the Digital Insurance Agent Podcast. I'm so glad you've chosen to join us today. And with me is Neil Reich from Care Connect Advisors. Neil, glad to have you with us today.
Hi, good morning, Carl. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Fantastic. And today we're going to dive into a lot of things dealing with Medicare. We're also going to be talking a lot about just growing your book of business and how to really stay healthy in an ever changing marketplace, how to keep your business moving forward. But let's start off with just a little bit of your background, Neil. If you can kind of walk the audience through a little bit of your history, how you got into the business, and a little bit of your journey, and then we'll dive into some deeper questions there.
Sure, yes, sir. I've been in the Medicare Advantage and Medicare space for over 2 decades. Started in 1997 as a sales agent working for Humana Insurance Company in Tampa, Florida. And I had several friends of mine within my circle of friends that went to Humana and were working for them. And I was in the P&C space, and they recruited me for a couple of years, and I finally decided to make that move. And it's been such a rewarding experience for me. I spent 13 years working at Humana Insurance Company in several different capacities as a top sales agent, sales leader in different roles, and really had an opportunity to work with a lot of what I call pioneers in the Medicare Advantage space. People like Fred Wheeler, who was just a visionary leader at Humana and had the vision of taking Humana from a regional company to a national player with the advent of Medicare Part D in 2006. And he assembled a team, which I was fortunate enough to be on. People like Jim Van Vallen, who was an executive vice president of Humana, Pat O'Toole, Dan Maltese, William Steele, Lance Hulkey, all strong backgrounds and leaders in the business in the space. And I had an opportunity to be on that team with those individuals and collaborate and learn from them. Many of those were mentors for me. So 13 years of Humana laid a foundation of the broker channel. And one of my roles as a national sales manager, when we did decide to go to a national company, Fred thought we should build a multi-channel distribution organization, and one of the channels was independent broker sales, and Humana was like the first company to do that. So I traveled the country and gave contracts out to IMOs that were selling final expense and Medicare supplement, and even in that role, I worked and learned from a lot of people about that space. People like Larry Bishop, Shep Cutler, Brian Adams, who's the founder and CEO of Integrity Marketing, gave him his Humana contract. Spent a lot of time with him training their agents. Left Humana, started the value-based care organization, which was focused on managing Medicare Advantage patients and their chronic diseases and to improve outcomes. Learned a lot in that time, six years as a managing general partner. After that, my partner and I sold that business in 2016. I did a year of consulting in 17, and then went and took a role with Heartland Financial Group. And there at the time, their Medicare Advantage channel was in its infancy, and I came alongside Brandon Clay, and we helped each other grow that. And then Heartland was acquired by Integrity in 2022, and then I left Heartland in 24 and started Care Connect Advisors.
Yeah, fantastic. So give us an overview of Care Connect Advisors, and really what's the vision of what you're building now?
Sure. Yeah, and just that a lot of experience there. So as an agent, as all the different things I just shared, I started CCN, built it on a simple but what I believe is a powerful idea, and that's that Medicare agents deserve more than just a contract from their upline, which a lot of FMOs, that's what they do. They give a contract, and I believe that they deserve real support, clear guidance, and a partner who is just as invested in their success as they are. So that's the real idea with Care Connect, is focusing on that next generation of agents, sharing my experiences with them, guiding them, leading them, collaborating with them, and at the end of the day, delivering what I call intentional value.
Good. Yeah. So you use this term intentional value when you describe, how you're supporting agents. What does that really mean in practice, in real world application? And then how does that shape the way that you are partnering with agents and agencies?
Sure. Great question. So, to me, like intentional value and being, it's a core value for care connected advisors, not just a catchphrase. It's a core value for us. And I'm a disciple of John Maxwell. I read most of his books, watched dozens of his YouTube videos, and he talks about that consistently, delivering intentional value. And one of the ways he describes that is that if you're doing it the right way, when you walk into a room and people see you, they know things are about to get better. And I focus on that. So I think it's support. To me, it's support that is personal, it's purposeful, and it's performance driven. And that's the objective at Care Connected Advisors, is that we deliver that. We focus on the intentional value, that we're not just giving an agent a contract, but we show up with resources, with mentorship, with strategy that means that helps agents move the needle. And we do that with coaching, with mentoring. We have a book club. We're actually this month we're reading the book Who Moved My Cheese, because of the ever-changing landscape that we're currently right in the middle of a ton of change in the Medicare Advantage space. So we're reading that book, and it's just, I've read it years ago, and just reading it again here in April just resonated with me. Gave me a lot of thoughts. And one of the things the takeaway was just building guidance for our agents on compliance, because there's a ton of compliance changes and guidelines, and as it relates to DSNP, SEPs, and then we also provide a lot of market analytics. So everything we do is designed with a clear outcome in mind, and that's to help agents grow.
That's good. Well, first of all, that amazing book, "Who Moved My Cheese," is a
It
classic, and
is.
anybody ought to read that. But let's talk for a second. Just kind of landing on this point of support. What do you find are really the main pain points that agents are encountering these days, and where do they really need that support? Where's that place that you find you coming alongside the agent really is that breath of fresh air where you're just really helping to alleviate the pain these days?
Sure. And I think in my personal experience in talking with smaller agency owners and agents on the ground, and listening to them, both the agent and the agency owners, and then their agents, I think a lot of agents feel like their upline, like I said earlier, they gave them a contract, and they're kind of out there on their own on an island, and there's not a whole lot of guidance. There's not a whole lot of support. And we're in a time right now in 27 years in the industry where Medicare Advantage is it's a little blurry. And I feel that about the industry for really the first time. There's increased regulations, there's shifting plan designs, there was plan exits in 2005, there's marketing restrictions. Carriers are losing money, which is leading to changes in their benefits and those plan exits. And I think agents are they're wanting guidance. Like, how do we navigate the current landscape? And we help them do that. And I say we, so I've assembled some other strong leaders. A guy named Mike Freeman, who was a vice president at WellCare for 9 years over the Florida division. He was my sales manager when I entered the industry back in 1997 at Humana. Another gentleman named Frank Corsones here in Florida. He's in charge of our Florida market. He was a director for Ultimate for 9 years. So we come alongside, we conduct market analytics. We look at different data points and identify and gather intel on the insights within a market. And then after we gather that data, we create strategies for agents to help them navigate, to help them understand the landscape, to improve their depth of knowledge about our industry, not as it just relates to and how to just sell a product, but educate consumers and conduct a personal needs analysis to help consumers find the plan that fits their personal needs the best.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so helping to clarify and bring crisp vision into that blurry landscape. So I like that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, along those lines, what are the top two or three things that Medicare agents need to be focusing on right now if they're going to stay relevant and really bring forth that confidence in this shifting environment?
I mean, for me personally, I think it starts with just approaching your role in the process as a professional. and being an advisor. And that's, part of our name, Care Connect Advisors. We really focus on that. We really strive to put our agents and our brokers that we work with in that position where they're considered an advisor. So I guess the first thing that would say, just deepening your product knowledge and the landscape, the local landscape demographics and different data points, understanding all the different things that make up the specific market that you work in. So I think that would be number one. I think number two is that, again, as we talk about Care Connect Advisors, there was a lot of thought put into that. I didn't want us to be considered just sales brokers or agents. I wanted us to be considered advisors. And even if it means like we're sitting down with the consumer and going through a needs analysis and letting them know that the plan you're on is the right plan for you. Like we're not going to suggest that you change plans, because the plan that you're on is the right plan for you. And really, as it relates to advisor, it's the education piece. And with the education piece, I think part of that education is also conveying and articulating to consumers the importance of value-based care. And value-based care was really, in my opinion, was really pioneered by Humana back in the early 2000s. It's a relationship, started as a relationship, a contractual relationship between Humana and providers, primary care doctors, and it's evolved into through the years. There's HEDIS measures, which is health effective data information set. There was quality measures, and now that whole model is named value-based care by CMS. So understanding that and being able to articulate and convey to seniors the importance of going to a value-based care provider that designs a personal plan for their needs based on their exercise regimen, their diet, their chronic diseases, the medications they're on, and just so doing that. So product knowledge, local market landscape, value-based care, and then I think really, really important, embracing technology. We're in a technology-driven world. Everything that I see lately about all industries is about AI, right? Like AI, artificial intelligence is like the new thing. It's the in vogue thing. So embracing technology, making sure you have platforms that drive efficiencies for the work that you do.
Excellent. I think it's important, this concept that you're bringing out of being the advisor. I think so many agents miss the key component here. When you're the expert, you don't have to sell.
Right.
Experts make recommendations, and you change and flip the script entirely by positioning yourself that way. So I love the approach there. So let's talk about, your background. Includes roles as a top producing, Medicare Advantage agent, national trainer, Humana state director, managing partner of value-based care organization. How has this experience really shaped your approach at CCA? Like, how have you molded all of that together, taken all of those ingredients, and put those together to form what you now have?
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that. Again, I've been so fortunate in my career. I mean, really, looking, just reflecting back on it and the experiences that I've had and the opportunities that I've had to cross paths with so many great leaders and mentors, and just being in a position where there was just the evolution of our industry kind of started in the early 2000s. And, in 1997, less than 5% of Medicare beneficiaries in the nation had a Medicare Advantage plan. It wasn't even called Medicare Advantage, it's called Medicare Plus Choice. The year before I started, you didn't even need an insurance license to sell it or enroll people on it. So really have been fortunate to be in the ground zero of our industry, and then work with a lot of great, like I said, leaders, mentors, been part of strategy sessions, collaboration sessions. And I think Humana does probably the best job in the industry investing in the development of their people, especially their sales leaders, and really teaching them all the different aspects and variables that make up Medicare Advantage, that how the plans are reimbursed, and then working in that value-based care position and capacity, learning really how reimbursement works as it relates to like risk adjustment, and making sure that you identify the different disease states of a consumer and coding those appropriately that impact the funding. So, getting great training from Humana and in sales at the ground level, sales in a leadership role. The experience I had in value-based care and working with providers on developing clinical protocols to manage chronic diseases for Medicare Advantage patients and understanding how that's reimbursed. And then working with an organization like Heartland Financial Group, where they were, basically the year before I went to them, they did 1,000 Medicare Advantage sales. So it was really like ground zero, just helping them build strategy, recruit agents, and all of that really has shaped me for this next step, and that's stepping out, starting Care Connect Advisors, and focusing on that next generation. And what I really want to deliver to the market is training the agents that is strategic and it's not surface level. Delivering and providing market insights that drive decision making, so agents aren't just guessing at what to do and how to do it, and then building relationships with their clients and providers that are built for long-term value and not just a short-term commission.
That's good. Now, one of the big differentiators at your organization is how you are using market analytics to determine which carriers are offering the best local value. So, if you'd walk us through a little bit of how that process works, why that's so important, and just kind of explain to the audience, that differentiator.
Sure. And again, Humana just does such a great job in investing in the development of their people. So a lot of that I learned at my time during my time at Humana, understanding as a state director of Georgia, just understanding, looking at the data as it related to the entire state, the number of Medicare eligibles by county, so statewide, but then drilling down granularly to county level. So Medicare eligibles, the percentage of Medicare eligibles that are on a Medicare Advantage plan, the number of Medicare beneficiaries that qualify for LIS, low income subsidy, the percentage of those individuals that qualify for low income subsidy that are actually getting low income subsidy benefits, because those are always different, the number of people that are turning 65 in the next 12 months, the number of Medicare beneficiaries that also have VA benefits. So kind of gathering all of that intel and dissecting it. And with that information, you match that data with the market demographics, understanding enrollment trends, network designs, D-SNP opportunities, C-SNP plans, 5-star plans. So matching all that data with the market demographics and then coaching agents on how to apply it. And then, like I said earlier, just doing all that, I think it positions the agents as an advisor and not a sales agent, which I think the one of the significant impacts of that approach is it builds trust. Consumers see that, it resonates with them. They view our agents, our advisors, as experts, and they're trusting our advisors, and they're willing to do business.
Absolutely. Now, something you alluded to a few moments ago, and I just kind of want to delve into this for a minute. You mentioned AI. Of course, AI is radically changing things. How have you incorporated AI into some of this process? Are you using that for some of the data analysis, or how is AI changing, what you're doing within your own processes?
Yeah, and I think that's another great question. And what I would say is that I think for me, I'm still relying on my own instinct. So like when we're looking at right now, when we look at different data points within a market, we have the data, we download it, and then we put it into a spreadsheet, and we're just looking at it. We're not relying on AI, because for me, I think that it's funny because I was just at the Medicarians conference in Vegas a few weeks ago, and just AI there probably was 7 or 8 breakout sessions about AI, and I probably received 25 emails in the last month about AI softwares available. I just think it's right now, I think it's too new to really I don't think anyone's demonstrated any type of success with it. I would like to see, for me, before I make a decision on what particular or what specific AI vendor I would want to do work with, I would want to see some data outcomes. I would want to see, okay, so what has your AI actually done? How has it improved sales? How has it improved marketing strategies? How has it improved customer experience? And I don't think it's there yet. I don't think anything. Now, what I would say is that we've recently made a decision to align with a new upline called Spark Advisors. And they are, I'm very impressed with the technology stack that Spark Advisor has built in a really short period of time. And they do have data that demonstrates and has demonstrated it to me, and they shared it with me, and I've looked at it for the last 6 or 7 months, that they're helping their agents improve their sales efficiencies and success and results by over 20% year over year for the last 3 years. That's impactful. I look at that, and they're doing that through several different ways in terms of providing customer support, helping agents manage their book of business. They have a CRM, they have an enrollment platform. They're really applying a tech stack that drives efficiencies for agents. Has resonated with me, and it's really appealing. I'm excited to get started working with them.
Fantastic. So one of the things that I know about you is like, unlike a lot of FMOs, you actually support a limited number of agents per market. And question I have for you is, why have you chosen this more exclusive approach, and why does that benefit the agents that you work with?
Yeah, another you're asking great questions, Carl. Thank you. I think it goes back to you know my long experience in the independent broker world. When I was a national sales manager for Humana back in 2005, from 2005 to 2008, Humana required a face-to-face training to sell products. I mean, today everything's virtual. You can just go online and do a virtual classroom or class, in a couple hours. But back then it was a face-to-face 8-hour day, long days, and there was times I'd have 100+ agents in the room, and just always having that close interaction, and being an agent myself, and I think I know what agents want and need and look for and crave, and it's support. There's a lot of agencies out there that will go into a market and they'll recruit 300 agents and hope they all do 5 sales and they have 1,500 sales. um that's just giving agents a contract and wishing them luck, like, here you go, and good luck. um, to me, that's not, I guess it works for a lot, but for me, I'd rather create a meaningful partnership with our agents and our small agency owners that we work with. It's about being a partner. It's about collaboration. It's about sharing that insight, those market analytics and that insight and that intel, and then mentoring and guiding them and providing coaching and training to help them accomplish what their goals are. Because that's one of the things that we do in the very beginning of our first interaction with an agent is, tell us what your goals are. Like, I don't want to say, here's what we're going to do. Tell me what you want to do. Let me hear how you want, do you want to do? Do you want to have 300 members? Do you want to have 1,000 members? Do you want to have 2,000 members? And then let's collaborate together to build a plan to go accomplish that. And I think that when we talk about, and you've heard me mention a couple times, delivering intentional value. If I am, and I'm here in Tampa, Florida right now, if I had 100 agents in Tampa, Florida, I can't deliver intentional value to 100 agents, but I can do it to 15 agents. I can make sure that 15 agents have access to me and my sales leaders, that we're providing guidance to, that we're getting on a call once a month and collaborating and identifying and talking about the current market and the landscape. Like right now, again, there's a lot of changes as it relates to compliance and special elections and D-SNP opportunities. Some states, they don't even have a fully integrated D-SNP plan, so there are no D-SNP opportunities. So they're limited to people turning 65 and chronic special needs plans. So, digging down to that granularly and looking at it, and then having that meaningful conversation and coaching session, collaboration conversation with our agents, in a small number, we can help them grow and we can help them accomplish their goals. So that's why we focus on that. That's why that's our go-to strategy, our go-to-market strategy.
Perfect. Now, you talk a lot about partnerships, and one of the things that you've done is you've built strategic partnerships with a lead vendor, with a VBC group to help your agents reach 300 plus sales per year. So, what does that support system actually look like in action? So, it's one
Sure.
thing to talk about it, but what does that really look like? Kind of describe
Yeah.
that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the lead vendor that we work with, and they're called Medicare Express, and they're based here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I started working with Medicare Express when I was still in my role with Heartland Financial Group, the last 2 years there. And so 3 years ago till now, agents that uh, purchase Medicare Express means they close over 50% of the time. So 1 out of every 2, they're closing. And to me, it's like, when I was an agent, one of the things I didn't like the most was getting on the phone, getting a bunch, doing a mail drop, getting leads back, and then having to sit down for 3 hours and call people and try to schedule appointments. And then hopefully when I show up at the house, they're there, right? I think I don't think any agents enjoy that part of the business. So working with Medicare Express, it takes that part of the business out of the way. Prospecting, making those phone calls, they do all of it for you. We align with them, we work with them, and we align our agents and plug them in, and they provide pre-scheduled meetings. So Carl, here's 3 appointments for you on Tuesday. You're going to see Mrs. Jones at 10 o'clock, Mr. Smith at 1 o'clock, and Mr. Jefferson at 4 o'clock. And they're scheduled. They know you're coming. They secure the scope of appointment. So then all you've got to do is just show up, educate them about the different plan options, and go through the needs analysis. And it's working. I mean, we have a small team here in Tampa right now. We only have 5 agents, and today's the 15th. So through last Friday, the 11th, those 5 agents were already over 40 sales for the month. So that partnership works. And then we work with value-based care organizations. The largest one we work with is called Oak Street Health, and they're based in Chicago, Illinois, but they have 180 clinics across the nation. So, again, we're just now 1 year old, so we're still recruiting agents to get aligned in a lot of markets where Oak Street exists. But and my relationship with Oak Street also dates back to my time at Heartland Financial Group before I left there. And Oak Street Health, they're a value-based care organization. Their core focus is helping seniors manage their chronic diseases. That's what they do. They help seniors that have chronic diseases or multiple chronic diseases to manage that, and they provide personalized care. The first visit to an Oak Street clinic is going to be 40 to 45 minutes, one-on-one with a primary care doctor. And if your appointment's at 9 o'clock, by like 9:10, you're actually sitting eye to eye with a doctor. And I think, a lot of us in America, a lot of us, if you have a 9 o'clock appointment, you're probably seeing the doctor like around 10, right? And
Yes.
then the doctor comes, yeah. And then the doctor comes in and you get 5 or 10 minutes and they write a script and like, here you go fill the script and we'll see you in 6 months. And then with Oak Street, it's just a total different experience. That first visit is 30, 40 minutes. They want to know every medication you're on. They want to know what your personal lifestyle is like, your exercise regimen, your diet, if you do exercise or not. They want to know all of that. And then they build a personal plan around that, a health delivery plan. And then depending on your illnesses and your wellness, they might have you come back every 30 days, every 60 days, every 90 days, or once every 6 months, just depending on your health. And it works. I mean, the data shows that in that approach, improves outcomes, improves the quality of life for people, and extends people are living longer because of that. So to me, it's such an important part of what we do. I started in the business in 1997, and I stayed in the business because it was gratifying for me to go into a senior's home back in 97, 98, 99 and help them save $200, $300, $400 a month on their medication costs. And it changed their lives. And today, value-based care is changing their lives in a different way. We don't get paid for that, but it's just it's a really important part of the equation, in my opinion. So that's why we align with them.
Excellent. So, working with smaller numbers of agents, you're going to be obviously, there's a certain type of agent that's going to be best positioned to succeed with you. And so let's talk a little bit about who is that type of agent that is best positioned to succeed in your model. What kind of mindset or commitment are you looking for when you're talking to agents and agencies?
Sure. I think, agents and new agents. I think new agents. I think agents that are brand new. One of the things that we're in terms of like a current strategy for recruiting. I think there's a lot of young people coming out of college today, and they don't know what they're doing next. They've got debt. There's the job market's a little challenging, and they're like, what am I doing next? I mean, we're recruiting those people. We're recruiting young people, introducing them to our business and our industry. So I think the new agent, I think an agent that even has been doing this for 2 or 3 or 4 years and it has not received the guidance and support from their current upline, that they're just out there struggling and still trying to figure it out. Because there's been a lack of guidance and support. I think agents that have been doing it for a long time, they're good. They've got it figured out. And a lot of seasoned agents that I know their books of business are large and they work AEP, they work part-time in OEP, and the rest of the year they're not working. So I don't think we're necessarily a fit for them. Although if they wanted to come join us, we're going to provide support. And I think that if they're interested in like mentoring, helping us mentor the next generation, we'll welcome them. But I think it's really that agent that has been doing it for 2 or 3 years and has struggled, hasn't received the support that they've expected or wanted from their upline, and craving that. And then definitely new agents. I think new agents, for me, again, I've been so fortunate in my career. I mentioned that a couple times. I have been so fortunate, and for me, part of starting CCA was let me lend a hand to the next generation. Let me help them the way that I was helped so many different times throughout my career. I'm looking to kind of pay that back a little bit.
Perfect. And then finally, for any agent who's out there listening and wants to grow their Medicare business with a partner that is focused on meaningful support, what's your message for them?
Sure. Well, go to our website, careconnectadvisors.com. It's all one word, careconnectadvisors with an S.com. Then go to our website. There's a button on there you can click on to request a playbook, our 2025 playbook. You can also scroll down and click on my picture to connect with me, or our national sales vice president, Mike Freeman, or our local market directors, Frank Sayre or Frank Corsones. You can click on any of those and connect through email. Um, but any agent that's out there listening that is looking for a partner that is focused on delivering intentional value, that will give you consistent guidance. We every Monday we do a collaboration call, and we have agents on there, we have agency owners, and it's not just me leading a discussion and saying here's 8 things that you should focus on doing. It's collaboration. It's talking to people in different markets, and helping and having them share. And I've been doing this for years, going back to my Heartland days as well. Like, for 5 years at Heartland before I left, every Monday was our collaboration Monday, and I would have 7 different calls scheduled in different time zones, and different people joining each week, and just talking about the things that are working, the strategies that are working, the tactics and some of these tactics that we share and we talk about. I was doing them 25 years ago as an agent. They still work today. They're fundamental approaches that still work. And I think agents that are out there that are looking for that are looking for a partner, guidance, mentorship, resources, because again, we're aligned with Medicare Express, education about value-based care and how that works and how that's funded and what it means, and how to educate consumers about the importance of value-based care. That's who should come to Care Connect Advisor. That's come join us. We are aggressively looking to grow right now.
Fantastic. Neil, it's been a pleasure having you on today. And to our audience, we want to thank you for joining us for this episode of the Digital Insurance Agent Podcast. And thank you for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Carl. It's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome.